Hello, I'm Claudia Kay. Welcome back. So let's be honest, guys. I have not gotten out my history videos as quickly as I wanted to, mostly because of the brain fog. It's just so hard for me to focus right now. But I just wanted to give you guys a little update on what I'm doing right now and talk about some of the things that I use to help mitigate the pain. And I wanted to talk about Whole30, which I'm doing Whole30 right now. Tomorrow will have been 2 weeks that we're doing Whole30, my mom and dad and I. So I wanted to talk about all those things. And I'm not doing a how am I feeling. I don't want to do a head to toe thing today. Also, those are super depressing. But I did want to come on and just talk about some things. So, disclaimer, nothing I ever say is medical advice. It's only my own lived experience. Never medical advice. So, one of the things that I use daily, and I have no idea if they've done studies on if there's any long-term damage by using these daily, but right now I can't even walk if I don't have these slapped onto my glutes. So I have learned. Now what's interesting is I am super allergic to adhesives. I get a chemical burn that blisters up and then takes forever to heal, and then I've got a nice nasty scar for the next year. Super allergic to any kind of medical adhesives. So I was surprised to find I could use Icy Hot patches. I can also use the Rite Aid brand and the Kroger brand, Dollar General brand, but there are some brands, and I can't remember offhand because I haven't bought them in so long, that I have a reaction to. But it's the 5%. It's the original formula, not the... I can't remember what they call the other one. Has either 7% or 7.5% menthol, and that kind of burns my skin. So it's the 5%, and I buy these big ones. There's 5 in here. I cut them in half and I slap one on each butt cheek because I have so much pain right now from low back all the way down to knees, and it seems like if I put it in the center and my glutes don't necessarily hurt. It's my low back that hurts, and then it's further down my left leg that hurts. But from being a massage therapist for all those years, I can tell you a lot of low back pain is actually referring from the hips. The glutes are tight, the sciatic nerves being pinched, the hip joints they don't have enough cartilage in there. You know, a lot of times your low back pain is actually coming from your butt. That's the way it is. Because I always ask permission when people came in complaining about low back pain to work the glutes. And some people were like weird about it, and some people were like, oh, nobody's ever touched my glutes before, but if you think it'll help. And when they get off the table, they're like, holy cow, everything feels so much better. Yeah, because a lot of hip tightness and issues in the hips are manifesting as back pain, low back pain. That's not actually your low back. So I slap these on, and this is how I am able to get through my day right now. Icy Hot patch. I took they're in the bathroom, but I cut the large one in half. I had been cutting them in fourths and using them as strips to make them last for 10 days instead of the 5 days. And it doesn't work as well for me right now. I need this amount of, and I have bought the original in the smaller, like for other areas. I've been using Icy Hot patches for more than 20 years. So Icy Hot patches, that's a big one. And then I forgot to grab the current muscle balm that I'm using at night. I use these during the day, and they say you can wear them up to 8 hours, but a lot of times I forget to take them off until right before I go to bed. So I've got them on longer than that. But I also always check weekly just to make sure the skin is not thinning or getting irritated, and sometimes I'll put them more on the side of my hips rather than smack dab in the middle of my glutes. But so far I haven't had any issues with them. So that's a good thing. The muscle balm that I'm using at night, which I use mostly right here because it hurts so much at night. I can't sleep. I can't remember the name of it, but it's not the one that I've been using for years because I can't find the one I've been using for years. The one that I was using for years was the Mary Hemster Cooling Hemp Balm. I don't know if they're not making it anymore. I don't know. I originally was buying it at my local health food store, and then I was buying it online through Vitacost.com. They stopped carrying it. I found it on Amazon a couple times, and so can't currently find that one. So I'm using something different, but it's all natural. I can't use things with chemicals in them. So, and I have found for me personally, I do not do well with the heating, like the cinnamon oils, the capsicum, what, you know what I'm talking about, like Tiger Balm. It doesn't do anything for me. And not that I have a bad reaction to it, it just doesn't do anything for me. I do really well with the cooling. So the peppermint, spearmint, menthol, that kind of pain relief. So topical pain reliefs, the cooling I do well with. Now, every single person's body chemistry is different. It just is. And so my mom does really well with the hot things, where I do really well with the cooling things. Every person's different. When it comes to medications, there are medications I've tried that, felt like they were going to kill me. But my sister-in-law, I have two sister-in-laws, both have fibromyalgia, but the one is local. And so if something doesn't work for me, I would pass it on to her, especially supplements. But sometimes it works for her great, something that didn't work for me. So you just never know. Everybody's different. And I've spent 25 years trying different things to figure out what works for me. The other thing that I cannot go without is magnesium. And I take a brand called, Source Naturals is the brand. It's called Ultra Mag. Take that one every night. I take more than the recommended amount. The thing with magnesium is if you start to get diarrhea, back off. Back off just a bit on the amount that you're taking. I don't have a problem with that. So I've learned, and I've probably taken Ultra Mag longer than I have taken any other supplement because I absolutely cannot do without magnesium. Magnesium is supposed to be the body's natural muscle relaxant, and my pain just doubles if I run out of it. So it's the one supplement where no matter how broke I am, I keep taking it. As far as other pain supplements, right now I'm not taking any of them. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, the price on everything has gone up outrageously. We all know this. But I have to take very pure supplements, which are already going to be more expensive than just going to, your local drugstore and picking up the buy one, get one free on the Nature's Bounty or whatever it is. So I have to order very pure supplements, or I have bad reactions to them, or I don't absorb them and they do nothing. And I looked up the one supplement, and since 2019, and it was already, I don't remember how much, like $20, and now it's like $23.98 since 2019. Like that's, all of them have increased that much, not just one of them. So everything that I was taking, I am currently not taking simply because they're so expensive. But the other reason is once a year, I like to give my body a rest from having to break down everything, and I kind of reevaluate and make sure that the things that I'm taking are still working for me. At one point in time, when I could afford everything, I think I was taking 13 different supplements. So once a year, since they're so expensive, I like to cut them all out for a month and then add them back in one at a time and make sure that they were working for me. And usually do it around this time of year because I already know I'm going to be in so much pain and feel miserable because it's January and February. The cold temperatures make me hurt. The weather changes make me hurt. So if you're going to be miserable, might as well be just get all the misery out, right? So this would be the time of year that even if I could afford them, I would probably cut out most of my supplements and give my body a break. Usually I do that in February because it's the shortest month, but since they were so expensive, as I ran out of them, I just didn't buy more right now. And I'm still continuing with my multivitamin. I take Stress X, and I have a real problem with taking B vitamins. I don't know why. My body does not like to digest them or absorb them. The smell of them makes me nauseous. If I can get them down, then I burp them up all day, which makes me nauseous. I don't like them. But the amount of B vitamins that are in Stress X, which there are B vitamins in that one because it's a specific vitamin for stress, which B vitamins are, that one doesn't bother me. So I'm able to take that one. And then I've just been taking some immune boosting things because, everybody's sick right now. COVID, influenza A, just head colds, just any kind of respiratory virus. I try not to get sick. So I'm taking just some immune boosting like vitamin C, vitamin D, that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm doing with that. Now the Whole30. So I've talked about this a little bit on my coffee chat. So if you've seen it, then you have some idea of what I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen any of my Wednesday morning coffee chats on my other channel, then you don't know that I'm doing Whole30 right now. And Whole30, you can Google it. There's tons of information. There's books, there's whole websites, there's lots and lots of stuff about Whole30. And it isn't specifically Whole30 that's so important. It's giving the body a break, letting the body reset and rest from having to digest rich, heavy, dense foods, that kind of thing. So prior to 2020, at least once a year, my daughter and I, who was a teenager / young adult during this time frame, would do this with me. And we always did it in January or February after the holidays. A lot of times we wouldn't start until February because we'd want to finish off all the yummy treats that were left over from Christmas and never want anything to go to waste. So a lot of times we wouldn't start in February. We started it, Mom and Dad and I, Monday morning will be 2 weeks since we started it because we were finishing off Christmas treats and didn't want food to go to waste. But I've done in the past, I've done the Virgin Diet by JJ Virgin. I've done Whole30. I've done the Hallelujah Diet, which is completely plant-based. Just done juicing. I've done a mono diet for a smaller amount of time. Anything where you're going to cut out the sugar, the grains. Sometimes you can cut out meat. It depends on what you, and like I said, everybody's different. Everybody's chemical makeup is different. So something that works for me may not work for you. But the big thing I wanted to cut out this year was sugar. It was sugar. And I've been gluten-free. This Easter, it'll be 2 years that I've been gluten-free. And for me, and I'm not celiac, no one in my family is celiac. For my mom and my dad, it causes digestive issues. They feel sick. They kind of flu-like symptoms if they eat something with gluten in it. For me, it makes my fibromyalgia pain worse. I have zero digestive symptoms from eating gluten. And let me tell you how much I miss having bagels. But if I can lessen my pain, I'm going to do it. And we've gone gluten-free in the past for short amounts of time. And every time I noticed a reduction in pain. So I knew it was something I needed to do long-term. But it just proved to be impossible while living by myself. Because if I have a fibromyalgia flare-up, I can't get to the store if I haven't been able to food prep. And when you don't have a ton of money, you can't always get to the store to food prep. And so then when I'd have a flare up and I'm in so much pain I can barely move, then I'm ordering a pizza. So I really, really struggled with going gluten-free until I moved back over here to this side of town and was near my parents. And now I'm living with them. And they've been gluten-free for years and years. And you would never know. If you came over to my mom's house and had dinner, you would never know. She has perfected gluten-free. So we enjoy pancakes. We enjoy, like dinner rolls. And she's perfected gluten-free. That's all I can. In the beginning, it was. But she's really worked hard. So you're not missing out. You don't feel like you're missing out. And so 100% due to my mom, I have been able to go gluten-free and be gluten-free for the last almost 2 years now. This Easter will be 2 years. So I was already doing something to reduce my pain, but my problem is sugar. I'm a sugar addict. I just am. And, I could not have an alcoholic drink and be fine for the rest of my life. That had no problem with that. I can go gluten-free. I got no problem with that. But man, do I struggle with giving up sugar. I struggle. And I found that sugar, because it produces endorphins and, happy chemicals, actually helps me tolerate the pain. Even though logically, I know that the sugar is doing more damage. Weight-wise, it's doing more damage to my organs. The whole thing, it's just bad. So my main thing in doing the Whole30 with my parents for this 30 days was to give up the sugar. And I don't plan on going back to the sugar until I've gotten down to the weight that I want to be. So let's talk about my weight. So I was super, super thin until I got pregnant with my first kid. I was a size 5. I was tall, so the most I'd ever weighed was 135 pounds, but my weight really never wavered. So 130 was about where my average weight was from the time that I was like 17 on, and I got pregnant when I was 23, I think. So my weight had never, I'd gain bloat a few pounds. So 135 was the most I'd ever weighed. But at 135, I was still a size 5. I was tiny. So I got pregnant and put on 50 pounds. And I put on 50 pounds with every single pregnancy. Didn't matter what my starting weight was. I put on 50 pounds no matter what. It's just what my body does. And because like with my first pregnancy, I ate more fruits and vegetables than I'd ever eaten before in my life. With my second pregnancy, I was nauseous for 9 months. I never threw up, but I was nauseous. And potato chips, Jones Salt and Vinegar potato chips, Jones is a local company, and baked potatoes from Wendy's were the only 2 things that would calm the nausea. So pretty much ate that for 9 months. And then with my third, because I had 2 toddlers, by the time you're pregnant with your third, if you've had them close together, you aren't eating sit-down meals. You're eating whatever's left over after you've struggled to feed your toddlers because they'd rather play than eat. So, it didn't matter what I ate or didn't eat, I gained the same amount of weight, except that each time I didn't lose as much as I had the time before. So after I had my first, I got back down to 140 pounds, except I'd gone from a B cup bra size to a G cup bra size in 9 months. So when I got back down to 140, most of that weight was up here. So I looked thinner through legs and arms and face than I had before, but I redistributed that weight. And then after I had my second child, I got back down to 150, which was a size medium. And then after I had my last one is when my thyroid stopped functioning as well as it had been. And it was such a struggle to get below. I'd gotten right up over 200 pounds during the pregnancy. And then to get back down below 200 was such a struggle. And that's when I got on Synthroid and dropped a bunch of weight when I first got on Synthroid, but then it evened out. And so then I stayed under 200 once I got on the Synthroid, but then I was off the Synthroid because insurance had changed and doctor didn't take my insurance anymore that I'd been seeing, and I was raising kids and I was working full time. So I just never bothered going to an endocrinologist again. And so my weight started to creep up, and then we had a very stressful event. And it may not seem like it to an outsider, but we were comfortably living in our little village in a little house that was small enough for me to be able to keep clean with school-age children. I was running my business, my massage business, which was just down the alley. I just had to walk down the alley and I'm at my business location. things were going pretty well. And the landlord, we were on a month-to-month. We'd already been there a year, and the lease had switched to a month-to-month, and she decided that she wanted the house back. And we had nowhere to go. I could not find any place in our little village that was within our price range. Ended up having to move back to the city. So then I had to commute for a full year, and the kids were in a different school district, but I was able to meet with both of the, what are they? Whoever's in charge of the schools, and meet with both of them and get them to approve my kids to continue to go to their school if I transported them. So that an entire winter I spent driving them back and forth to work, or to school, which was extremely hard on me because I didn't even get a rest day on the days I didn't have to work, because I had to still go into the little village to take them to school. So it was stressful to have to move when we didn't want to. And, by then I've got at least one teenager in the house who's very angry with me about the move. I physically now am exhausted because I've got to do this drive back and forth every single day, even on the days I wouldn't have gone into work. The house, we hated the house. There were all kinds of problems with the house we were living in. It was just all bad for 11 months. And I started to have all of the perimenopause symptoms, just got so much worse. I didn't know it at the time, but I had fibroids that I ended up having a hysterectomy for then a year and a half later. But it just started this whole downhill. It was bad. The month we moved, I gained 25 pounds that month. Didn't change a single eating habit. Probably ate less because we were in the process of moving. Hormonal, 25 pounds. And I've just never been able to budge any of that weight since then. So I'd gotten up to 250 pounds. That's the most I've ever weighed in my whole life. And before I moved in here with my parents, I was able to get back down to 220. Just simply because I couldn't afford food. There was no food in the house. My kids had all moved out. I couldn't afford food. So I just wasn't eating. That's the only way I lost weight. So I'd gotten down to 220, moved in here, and I gained 12 pounds because I was eating regularly again. So we started out Whole30. I'd already lost 2 pounds because I'd gone from 220 to 232. I was back down to 230. And now, 11, 12 days into this, I am back down to 225. And my goal is to be under 200 before my birthday in May. So that's what I'm working on. But with cutting out all sugar, you've got to read the labels on everything. I thought I was drinking the unsweetened almond milk. Turns out I wasn't. This tea, I gotta show you guys this. Honey, lemon, ginseng, right? And I did cut out monk fruit, honey, sugar substitutes, all of them. I cut them out. I'm not using any, I checked my hot sauces to make sure my hot sauces did not have sugar added. That's how crazy strict I'm being. But if you read through this, it says, cane sugar. Right here. Why is there cane sugar in this tea? Why is this tea pre-sweetened? Now, if you go up to total carbohydrates, it's 0. So it's not even enough to add a calorie to this, but I'm not counting calories. My whole point was to cut out all sugar, all sweeteners. Not using honey, no sweeteners. So hidden sweeteners. And I'm pretty sure that this one, I tossed the box because I just had a few of these left. But sweet cinnamon spice, I made a cup of this and I'm like, I bet there's a sweetener in this. So I'm stevia, not doing stevia. I'm doing no sweeteners at all. Now I am doing 2 servings of fruit in the morning. So I put one in with my breakfast. Like I split a grapefruit with my dad this morning. We each had half a grapefruit. And then for my snack today, I had a small green apple with almond butter. So I'm allowing myself 2 pieces of fruit. The fruit does not seem to trigger the sugar cravings in me, but I think if I was eating more servings of fruit than that, it would trigger the sugar cravings. Now, sugar cravings, have I had them? Are they making me cranky? Yes. And I can't tell if my cats are being more bad than they usually are, or if I just have less patience right now. Because we're not getting along. There's a lot of cat yelling. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if he's just got spring fever and he's mad, so he's yelling at me a lot, or if I just have zero tolerance for any irritations right now because of cutting out the sugar. I don't know. But as much pain as I'm in today, it really gave me a good feeling to step on the scales this morning. And if you're officially doing Whole30, you're not supposed to get on the scales for the whole 30 days. You're not. But I did. I did anyway. So to be down another 5 pounds, that makes me feel good. And I already knew I was losing, and it's mostly bloat weight. That's what you lose anyway at first. But I knew my t-shirts and my pants were fitting a bit better than they had been 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. So I still feel horrible. The pain's awful. I'm struggling to walk today. But I feel better mentally knowing that I am losing some of that weight. So after Whole30's over, because it's just a 30-day thing, it's kind of a reset for your body. We cut out all grains, all sugars. There's other things we cut out, but you can look up Whole30 to see what all we cut out. I'm going to stay pretty restrictive. Not going to add the sugar back in. I really, really want to lose the weight before my birthday. I do not want to go into my birthday weighing more than 200. And with my hormones, I've not been able to get under 200 in 6 years now. Because it was 2017 when I had my hysterectomy. And I've just not, I've gained the weight around the middle and I've just not been able to lose it. It's hormonal weight. So hopefully this is going to help. We'll see. Mom and I have talked about it, because a lot of times when I'm doing things like this, the weight loss stalls out and then I'm just stuck at that amount and nothing I do. So we've talked about some things to do differently and kickstart things and stuff like that. I even worked with a personal trainer at one point in time, and she was great because she was able to help me pinpoint some things just because she had better training than I did. And so I know personally I do better with 5 small meals a day. So a small breakfast, mid-morning snack, small lunch, small mid-afternoon snack, small dinner, with lots and lots and lots of greens, salads, that kind of thing in there. I cannot skip the protein. When I did the Hallelujah diet, it just about killed me. It was awful. So I personally cannot skip the protein. And I don't know if that's because I'm a type O blood type, but I have to have protein at every meal. Have to. So there's some things I was able to figure out by myself working with the personal trainer that I couldn't figure out by myself. So it's really nice that small amount of time I got to do that. Oh, do you hear him? He's just been something. So anyway, that's what's going on with me. Yeah, the pain's no better, but mental state's good today because it was good to see those numbers on the scale. So we'll take it. We'll take every little. We'll take it. Yay! It's a little win. Woohoo! So, and if you look at my top weight of 250, which was this time last year, that's what I weighed. So I'm down 25 pounds from this time last year. So that's great because for the longest time, I couldn't get that scale to move at all. Couldn't get it to move at all. I'd gotten up to that, and that is just where I was staying. So happy about that. That's a win. Yay. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I always forget to say that at the beginning. A future content coming. I will finish my history. I will do a video on what I have been diagnosed with. I will do a video going over the supplements that have worked for me in the past or are still working for me. So all of that is more content coming up. If you have a friend that has a chronic illness and you think something that I'm saying might be helpful to them, let them know about the channel at some point in the future, but probably not until spring. I will be doing lives where we can just chat about the things. You know, I've got a lot of knowledge that I just assume everybody has, but I'm finding, oh, people didn't know that. So you don't know what you don't know, and sometimes you can learn something new. Like, there's cane sugar in my tea, even though it added 0 calories and 0 carbohydrates. Whatever. All right, you guys. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you at the next one. Bye.